gonna hop on stream for like maybe 45 minutes or so. And I do some analysis here. All right, cool. All right. So I wrote up some stuff here on my breaks. I wanted to get into this a little bit more here. So, okay. Okay. So, we're going to use the expiration date given here. All right, so this is going to create an option for us, right? Given a list of options. Okay, so we also need to get okay, so then I think we can just return self.yt yf ticker dot just options. Returns you back a tuple of options. And then all right, make that better. Okay, so my goal here is that we have this class options, an option class, right? And we have an option which has a bunch of parameters with it, or attributes. And what I want to do is I want to, by recording this option as we loop over expiration dates and look at this. So let's go to our testing here. Let's call stock.get option expiration dates. And then let's see, this is going to be stock option expire. Right, and then what we're going to do is okay, what we're going to do, it's dead in here today. Late stream. Okay, so let's just chill. Hey, kitty. We're gonna get the, so we're gonna print these and see what we get. Okay, so there we go. We get a list of string tuples for all of the expiration dates. Cool. So that gets expiration dates. And then we'll also give an optional parameter here for count, or we'll say like limit, which will be, I'll type an int, and we'll set this equal to none at first. I'll say if count is not, or sorry, if limit is none, return this, else try, I mean, should we be super careful here? But I don't think it really matter. Expiry, let's do return self dot yf ticker dot options. We'll slice this tuple up to the limit. So now what we can do is go into our testing here, and let's give this a limit of 5. Oop. Boom. Now we only get the first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cool. So now we have that limit going on for this get options expiration dates. Get options expiration dates probably. Okay. Get options. We'll get all the options and create options for every expiration date. So if I remember right, this set default function update used to make union between using overloaded second. Okay. Right, I think it's set default's a dictionary method in Python that's super handy when you want to ensure a key exists in a dictionary and initialize it if it doesn't. Key is the value you want to look for. Default value is set if the value doesn't exist. If the value does exist, then simply moves from the current value. Okay, yeah, perfect. So we'll append the current value here to these results. And then what we can do is we're going to print, or we're going to return the results here. And then in my testing here, what I'm going to do is call stock dot get options, and then we're going to give the stock option expiration dates here as the list. And we're going to give it a limit of 5. Perfect. So let's go run here. Option types. That's right. We have to give option types here, which will be, we want all of the calls. We want call. So I'm going to say call put option type. Call put. And we'll get rid of that because we'll make it singular. Cool, I like that. Call put, nice. Now let's run here. All right, one more time. Oh gosh. Expiration date, unexpected. Okay, so we have, this is supposed to be, it's just this date, so we need expiration date. I changed some stuff. Expiration. Okay, now I think we're good to go here. Hey, how's it going, Ally 24? Biochemist doing Scott coding, that's an interesting story. Yeah, hello. Sorry. We got a slow stream today. I appreciate you joining me though. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing? Oh, I just spelled stuff wrong. My spelling, no. Expiration date. Expiration date. Expiration date. Okay, here we go. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Implied volatility. Okay. Um, equals to. I'm trolling. Okay, so you have to have option type, expiration date. Oh, let me just do this. How do you get rid of chunks at the beginning? I need to get better at my shortcuts. You get better at my shortcuts. No. Choking. Okay. So we have option type. Right, cool. Symbol. Good, we're using the symbol. You gotta give commas here. Okay, so implied volatility is not being accessed, so we need to go implied volatility is equal to the row, and we want I believe it's implied volatility. Okay, so now do we work? Okay, yes. Okay, so now what we'll do is we have options is equal to this, and we're going to print our options. Boom. Okay, so that's printing our options. Now, what we can do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to define I'm going to define a stir method, and I'm going to define how I want this to be printed. So we're going to return this. We're going to do we're going to do \tab here. We're going to do self dot self dot option, or we're going to do we're going to do we're going to do a self dot. Oh my gosh, I'm trolling, man. Hey Max, how's it going? Bro, what happened to learning C? We can take a single day break. Chill. We'll get back into the book tomorrow. It's monotonous to do the same thing every single day. I can't do it. And I got to keep up on my Python code as well. We don't want to lose our skills in Python. I mean, I've been able to, I wrote all this from scratch. I mean, we've been able to write really decent, nice Python code here. from our learning. We don't want to lose it. So we got to keep our going on our projects, but also do our learning as well. Thanks for coming in. Okay, self dot. We're gonna have the symbol here. No, not symbol. We want. Right, actually, we don't know what this is for, so I need to add on here ticker. Right, so add on a ticker, and we'll throw on a ticker pass through, and we will put that into our into our program here. So for get options here, we're gonna pass in the self.ticker into the option ticker. Cool. That'll solve that issue. Now what we can do is do self.ticker here, dot upper, and then we'll do the bar. We'll do the option type call. We'll do the date. We'll do the date, right? So we'll do a tab in. We'll do the upper on the ticker, the expiration date, with the type here. We will do dot upper as well on this one. These are gonna be stirs, right? So we can do a little bit of a type hinting here to get the access to these methods in the IDE here. So we'll do the ticker, so it'll be Apple for this date call or I'll do the type. I'll do Apple call option with an expiration date equal to, we'll do expire this here, and then we will tab again, right? We will force new line here, and how do you, I forgot how do you how to write long strings on multi-lines. You can write long strings on multi-lines in several ways. Use triple quotes. Okay, that's right. So I'm gonna kind of like set this up how I would see it, I think. Hey, thank you for the subscribe. Hey, Prism, how's it going? Thanks for the subscribe, Dumbhill. Appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Bro, y'all, Prism, you've been here for a while. What's your guys' deal? Why people be like, why are we shifting from language to language? Like, I don't. People, it's like, I'm not gonna go to jail for going back to my coding in Python just a little bit, and like, it's like I don't have to learn C every single day. It's so funny. Take him to jail. He's not learning C today. Okay. Then let's go ahead and where was I? I lost my train of thought. Oh, here we go, yeah. So it expires on this date. And then we go to a new line here. And then we're going to tab in here. Or no, we're not going to tab in here. We're going to just have 245 call option. Call option, open interest, volatility in the money last trade. Okay, actually, I'll probably just leave it like this. I'm being kind of goofy. Okay, like that. Okay, let's go to our testing and see what we got here. So we'll go for option, or no, it'd be date option. Be a list of options. Right, we're going to for option. Oh, why did that work? Oh. There we go. Okay, so we have the 17 call that expires on this date. Yeah, because we only got the first 5 expiration dates. Why did it only print that many? I thought we would get a lot more. It only printed the ones that are coming tomorrow. Let's print the length of our ops here, 21, and we're only getting an output here of why are we cutting out early here? Are we? No, it's printing out 21 in ops. One. Huh. Huh. Okay, we got a bug here in our this. Ah. There it is. One indent too many on that loop. One indent too many on that loop there. Boom! There they all are. Okay, cool. Alright, so nice. We have all the options for the 5 dates. Cool. Now, I have a cool idea. Yo, what's up, Volvo? How's the question? What's the question? Rachel Dev, how's it going? This is cool. Nice. I like it. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you for coming in. Yeah, I like to trade options, and I want to implement maybe some of my kind of more strategies that I've been using, kind of more internally. I don't have any like formal strategies or whatever. I'm not like that hardcore on it. I'm mainly like a momentum play, where I like to like obviously play off of news, off of like sentiment, retail trader feeling, I guess. Not my own feeling, but like the feelings of others, and kind of play off of like a large scale retail, like I don't know, for lack of better words. I mainly track like price indicators, like volume is a huge, and just price, establishing levels of like support and resistance, and just kind of watching those mainly through some tickers that I like. A large philosophy for my trading, or for my investing, that I've been pretty successful in so far. Knock on wood. For 2025. Um, Mike is like, when I first started, is like I wasn't going to invest anything that I didn't personally like use or like actually believe in on a day-to-day basis, and would potentially use their product if I had the opportunity to. And that's not to say that I would buy every stock just because I use their product, because some companies make products that I like that aren't necessarily good company, like that well-run of companies. But usually, if people are kind of sheep, right? So like usually, if I'm using something, then probably a lot of other people are, and so that's where a lot of money is going. So it's like an interesting thought, and obviously not foolproof, but there's money to be made in those areas. And yeah, we were just kind of. I had an idea I wanted to talk to you guys about, regarding, for displaying some option contracts to us. So, if you guys are familiar, we already wrote this one. We already wrote this function here. Um, we already wrote this function here, which will plot us the price of a given stock over a number period of trading days, and also will plot the relative volume over those trading days. And if you aren't, if you aren't familiar with relative volume is the current volume or that day's volume over a average volume of some period in the past. And so now what we did is we took each day, went back a day period in the past, and took that relative volume and did that sequentially for all those days in the past. And then we took the price and plotted it. And then what we also did is we wrote this little detection logic for understanding. I'll show you guys that here really quickly. Um, right here, these pivots right here. It was actually really fun to do. We didn't really. Um, we wrote it. I don't think we really needed to. I don't think we had to prompt the AI at all for some help. I think we wrote this one pretty independent. Oh, we did have to get a little bit of help at the very end, because we had a minor bug to work through. But this was a cool little like algorithm or function or whatever, or kind of logic, gating, to indicate, or to find pivot points in our lows. So, for example, this is Gap stock here. I've been investing in Gap stock lately. I like the move that they've been making. Let me throw up an Gap stock here in. Let me open up my browser. I've been looking at Gap stock quite heavily, and I've been saying it on the channel for the past couple, or in the Discord for the past few weeks now. As I've been buying into this dip here below $22. I've been buying the $22 strike option below this dip, because I really like this support level that we've been pinging off here, slowly increasing over the number of months off of that 18 to kind of a 19 low to kind of a 20 low. Now we've kind of solidified that trend. And then obviously we had a lot of consolidation period with a downward wedge coming down onto this increasing trend here. So I was really eyeing Gap stocks since about June. I wanted to watch what would happen after this kind of downfall and recovery. Because if you really look at this and kind of zoom out, like I know it's not really that, you're not really supposed to do a lot of like pattern analysis. It's not really the recommended, but Um, you do kind of get this kind of overall diamond shape, which I do like to find sometimes for breakouts to the upside. And right, we have this downward kind of pressure on this upside with this upward rising resistance, or sorry, support, with also kind of like breaking these kind of, we're kind of breaking out of these local resistances as we go up here. So Gap has also, in my opinion, had some positive press lately. They've been really branching out of their Chinese manufacturing and distribution. They've been heavily moving into other areas, sectors of the world, I believe, through some of my research, what I've been doing, as well as getting more and more involved in social media presence and younger Gen Z eyes. Gap is kind of had a more like millennial older kind of feel to it for the past, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years, and they're really starting to actually capture a lot of Gen Z audience here with their promotions, with their products, with their collaborations. So I expect maybe their sales this next quarter, coming in November when they report earnings next, to maybe be a little bit better than in the past, hopefully, especially off that news with China and whatnot. But not, we're not going. We'll see. But we've been watching this one for a little bit now, and so I have been buying the $22 call option for March of 2026. So I do have quite a few months, and we're currently now in the green and in the money by $1 on this guy on this 7% move today. So huge move, confirming our bias here, our belief off that $20 kind of resistance or support, sorry, trend here. So interesting moves happening on Gap, which we have been watching here. So, right, we saw the money come in here in this relative volume spike. It wasn't much, but it was enough at this price, it looked like, to get continuation, and some movement here. Um, and it's been relatively like stable at this kind of level of about one. So we know we're not getting like many major sellouts. There is relative volume is kind of stable-ish, but price has really been ramping up here, and we're starting to really kind of get. We haven't had a pivot in this kind of area as well, which is interesting. So it's just a bunch of like analysis and kind of little points of like indications for kind of setting up a belief and what you might think happened, but obviously staying adaptable because you don't want to trap yourself and whatnot. For sure, it's a dangerous game. You gotta be willing to go against yourself if you're wrong too sometimes. Um, but anywho, I so we have the gap options now created and actually secured within this class object for each of them. So here's my idea. I had this idea in traffic. All my good ideas come in traffic. So think about like this. Let's say that we have a plane. Right? We have a plane. I've been really thinking about like trying to capture analysis in maybe multiple dimensions and how we could do that. And so, um, think about, we have this plane here. This what would it be called? A parallelogram. Right, we have this plane here, and you could think about it and try to think about this as into the plane of the screen, right? So you have this. If you have some poor visualization abilities, really try here to work on them here. When I was a fun fact, I when I was in my undergraduate, I was gonna be a dentist. I was gonna be a dentist, so I was studying for the DAT exam, and the DAT exam is a big section of it that is visual and spatial orientation testing or whatever. And so you have to be able to visualize like surfaces on like and like, because think about dentistry, you're like working with mirrors and like working backwards on people's teeth, like inverted. So it kind of does make sense, you have to kind of have those skills. So it's kind of funny that that's part of the testing. So think about, we have this plane, right? And what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to use some different colors. So what if we have in this direction, red. And in this direction, we have green, right? Now it's not perfect because it's kind of oblong here, but it'll do the part. So what if, now think of this plane as going into the screen. So you have your screen in front of you. Now think of this plane as being perpendicular, right, in like a T to your computer screen. Now what if on one of these axes, this is the x-axis, or in this case I bet you yeah, well, depending on what angle you're looking at it from, but like x-axis here. What if we had the x-axis here, and the x-axis represented um, our hold on, let me think. Yeah, so x-axis would be our strikes. So these are our strike prices. So they would be going up from, out of the money into in the money or whatever like you would do. Okay. Our y-axis would be our now you have to think our y-axis is no longer going upwards. Like it's now going into our plane. Now it is technically like a z like kind of visual, but from what I've been looking up and how they treat it in these kind of these models is the y kind of when you flatten out a graph into the plane, the y kind of becomes the right? The y is facing upwards like this. It's kind of backward. But when you flatten it out, the y kind of is the one that becomes the z, and the z becomes the y or whatever. So I'm not sure. It's kind of beyond me. So now, what if we had like a y here that was for our expiration dates, right? And then what if we had a um, a z direction or a z direction, right? What if there was a z direction that we could have be any addition, any it could be any parameter we would want to visualize under this three-dimensional model, right? And I'll kind of make like a little bit of a like a maybe like a right, something like this, so you can kind of see that it's into the plane here, right? It's a little if you can kind of squint your eyes and see that. I don't know. We have people in here. We got 18 people in here. How's everybody doing? Okay, so what if z was anything we wanted, like volume, or like it could be you could even do like well, I mean, like price like to like price ratios. You could do open interest, right? Different types of indicator or like statistics about the option contract. It could be this z indicator. Now, what would this look like essentially? Now, think of it like this. So, in one dimension, you have a y and an x, right? This is in one dimension. Now, what I want you to do is try to think about it like a book. This is how I was visualizing it in traffic. I swear this is how I was visualizing it in traffic. Hold on. Hold on, I gotta find a book. We'll grab my coding book. Right. Think about like this book is 3D. Now it's 3D when you look at it from an angle. When you look at it from just this way, the book is in two dimensions. You have the x and the y dimension or whatever. Now, when I angle it, you can tell that there is now depth to this book. So, what if each page in the book, creating those layers of depth, were these phases of the option contract or these dates of the expirations, right? Like we have in going into the plane, these dates, right? We have volume, and then we have price or strike, right? So we could get a really cool visualization in 3 dimensions of a single like strip for either like we could take a lane of pricing, right? In that direction, right? It would be like it would follow that same angle. Like we could take a lane of a single strike price. Stay with me here. Does this make any sense, you guys? Like we could take a strike price here, and we could take its entire lane, or like vector surface or whatever. I don't know if that's even the right word. Whoa, we're getting crazy here. And we could understand like um, where in this plane does this strike price have unusual activity. We could visually see that for this indicator of volume. Now, how could we do that? Well, like I said, is the there's like we can graph these in the 3 dimensions, and then we could use like some certain surface meshes that software like that they have in these packages to mesh together these points, and then provide like color indications to for like hot regions and stuff like that. So, um, for example, like what if like at this like let's say each of these little dots here are expiration dates in that direction for this strike price. If we were to let's say that this one has a volume that goes up to here, this one has a volume that goes up to here, this one has a volume that goes up to here, this one has a volume that's here, this goes up to there, this one's up to there, like up to here, like, or maybe like that's a little bit bad. Let's do like some common trends. Like it's kind of all around the same point, right? It's kind of okay. It's all around the same point. It's nothing really that crazy. And then all of a sudden, we see some big money buying out in the distance. And we see in this plane this curve. And then we can take another sliver, right? We could take another sliver of our plane, right? And we could see if that trend is happening at many different strike prices. And that could tell us, okay, we see that there is activity for this indicator at many different prices, kind of correlating the same specific like trends, right? Something like that. That was my idea. Um, I want to know what you guys think. that red one's pretty bad looking. Let me try to like redo that red one. The purple one looks good. Right. Anybody have any thoughts about this? We got like 18 people in here apparently. Where's everybody at? No one's chatting with me. Where's everybody at? All right. That's my idea. Um we gotta try to figure this out. That's gonna be the question. Oh, hold up. Hold up real quick. Let me make sure my lady's not texting me. Here we go. Nate, you like this idea? I want you guys' feedback. My hair is crazy today. Oh boy. Oh gosh. Right. So we're kind of setting that up now that we have we have options in a dictionary for all of the given dates, which are our keys. So the dates are so we have our dictionary of options. We have our options dictionary here where we have a date, expiration date, and then we have expiration date, and then we have an array of options. Right. So we know that dates, which is our y, is our options dict, right? Dot keys. Okay. We know our x. So our x is going to be, we're going to have to iterate through, we're going to have to go to, it's going to have to be options dates or options dict, right? Dot values, index of 0, so the first one, because we just need to get the first one. We're going to have to say, option dot date dot option dot sorry option dot strike for option in this above all in a list comprehension. Okay, that solves the x problem there. And then z, which is our whatever indicator we're wanting to be our amplitude in this three-dimensional plane or space, z is our okay, it'd be a similar in this same loop, right? We probably wouldn't want to use a list comprehension. We probably have to say um, it'd be a list of lists, right? And then we'd have to say um, so it'd be a list of lists, and the list would say option dot volume for option in um, so we'd have to loop over. It'd be a loop over the options. So we want to get the volume out of every option for every date. So we need to go loop over. Um, could be for date and options list in the options dict dot items, right? And then we would have to say we'd have the options dict. We say we want to say for option, and then we would take yeah. Would each point on the x-axis be for a different stock? No, for the same stock, but different strike price of a different option. So similar, like kind of, but like different option contract for the same stock though, a different strike price. Because what I've noticed in some of my kind of visual analysis is that when I see some bigger money start to play, a lot of them like to cascade their plays over the course of the coming, months, right? They don't just play like one strike. They scatter out their buys accordingly because a lot of them they'll leverage against their larger buys, um, and do some other types of strategies by either like selling against their contracts or their right to own those shares, um, for the ones that are further out if they're not getting the movements they're wanting or whatnot. So if we can, but the move the actions of buying them alone though, um, mixed in with some other sentiments, right, does cause like some momentum in these things from what I've been able to. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any like evidence for this kind of stuff. It's kind of just touch and feel for what I've been doing, but I don't know. um, so we would have to loop over every option options list in the options dict items. This looks terrible, chicken scratch. And then what we would do is we would need to extract out all the volumes. We have the list of option dot volume for option in option lists, and then we would have to this would be a temporary variable. Then we'd have a list out here out front, and then we would just do theta, or this would be like I don't know, m dot append the t, right? Okay, that's how we would do it. And that would give us the z value for every um, okay, so I'd have to go and look up the matplotlib stuff for. Do you guys understand my visualization I'm trying to go for here, though? Are we on the same page? good to hear from you again, Mr. Jones. Okay, so okay, where's my whiteboard? Okay, so let's just try some stuff here. So we have our options dictionary here. Our x values is equal to the options dictionary strike prices. So we have to say option dot strike for option in options dot items slice index of 0. So if I print x vals here, no. Oh, sorry. Values. Come on, Mike. Get your head in the game. Not script. Can I not do this? Oh, maybe I can't script into the values right off the jump. Ah, you gotta convert to a list first because it gives you back a generator, I think. What is dict values? Oh, it's an object itself. Oh, okay. So the values actually returns you back an object. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it returned you back a list. That's why I was indexing into it. I literally thought it returned you back an iterable of all the values, but it's actually its own object. My bad. But there is no iterable on the object itself, which is interesting. Like there is no dunder method for this values object. You learn something every day. Okay, there's all of our strike prices. I kind of see the vision. I just lack any knowledge about trading. No worries, dude. Yeah, no worries. Options are like pretty tricky. Like they're honestly like a little like they're like recursion. It's like they're annoying to like think about. They're like forward contracts, like the right to own something, and having to like put up some collateral for that right due to the changing of price for future like interest. Like it's kind of it's a really interesting type of contract or monetary exchange, and how they've done it and worked it out in stocks is quite interesting. That's why it's so enticing because it can be so lucrative, but it can be so detrimental. It could just destroy you too. It's like it's pretty nuts. Um, okay, we're getting all the strikes. So now we have Y vals. And our Y values was no, did I actually no. Oh, that was such a good visualization I drew. No. I can't believe I've done this. Dang it. That sucks. Are options covered? Sometimes I usually like I it's kind of funny. Like people, they say, oh, you cannot buy naked options, not buy naked options. But I don't really get into too many like covered strategies. I mean, I'll sell some covered calls at some strikes that I'm comfortable selling my stocks at, like but I typically I like to let my stocks ride, and you know I don't like to limit their upside. But I like to play like I've been finding success playing like very small hands of like naked, basically naked calls. Um, I don't play puts. I don't play any downside. Naked calls on like after like areas like after like certain flushes and people's like fears kind of over, and after like those types of like economic events or like social events or whatever. And then I've been feeding those profits um, just into the underlying stocks themselves for those companies that I've been believing in. So I've been kind of just not like double dipping in a sense, but like I don't know. It's like my risk isn't too big because I'm not playing anything too large, and I'm not playing things like I'm not playing at all time highs unless like there is like strong moment reasons for it. And like I really like tapered back on a lot of my trades recently too. I've been trying to find more and more reasons why to convince myself to make the trades because I've been we've been scaling up our trades too and stuff. So it's interesting. I appreciate you for coming in, you Rucher. We're not doing anything with after hours. I think it's just the data from the closings right now. I can pull up the live. Oh, John, that's a clutch idea, actually. I can pull up the live stream. So our Y values, if you remember, though, I think we can remember. All right, Y. We have strike. This was just our dates, right? So this is just stock option expiration dates, right? This is just those guys. And then our Z values are um, Z is going to be, or Z's are going to be a list. Z's. And it's going to be a list, and we're going to say every for every date and options, like option list in options dot items, we're going to create a list conversion and say option dot volume for option in op show list op show list, right? And then we're going to just append this bad boy to Z's. Cool. So those are our three values. Now this will give us a multi-dimensional, a 2D matrix of our Z values. So we will have to go to the option date at that strike corresponding to the length I and J for date and strike at that Z value and get that out of there, right? Or it'd be strike and day. We'd have to figure out the order of it, but it would just be that you would just put the the index value of your X value, index value of your Y, so the date and the strike, into the Z to get the corresponding Z out of the multi-dimensional matrix here. And then, or the 2D array. And then we could plot that. So let me print here. Let's print some stuff. Let me see if we're getting stuff. Print Y vowels. Cool. Getting Y vowels, and let's print Z's. Z's. Ah, there they all are. Okay, so there's all the volumes for all the different strikes are for the different expiration dates, and each of the different volumes corresponds to a different option uh, strike price within that expiration date. Because remember, each expiration date is just a Alex. He said access to demonstrate a dimension. Alex, what do you mean? Can you elaborate, my friend? He's being philosoph. He's being um, vague. What do you mean, Alex? Okay, cool. So now we have our data points that we're wanting here for this stack. I think I'm going to probably end it here, though. This was going to be a little bit shorter stream today. I'm pretty beat. I've had some long. Um, Today at work, I had to do a lot of labeling and capping of these vials and stuff for the specific like anchor that we're getting into the freezer. So it's like it was just monotonous like work. It was just annoying. So my fingers are all wrecked. But and I also did some coding earlier. I coded up. I coded the option class and as well as the get options um, function here, and yeah, I'm in my free time. But I'm pretty beat. So tomorrow, not tomorrow, tomorrow we're going to jump back into C programming. We're going to jump back into chapter 2 and finish up chapter 2. So make sure you guys come back tomorrow if you're interested in following alongside me as I learn and teach myself C programming, similar to the methods and terminology and whatever I used to learn Python, the same kind of grinding that we've been doing. So if you want to see how we kind of translate our learning from Python into C and being able to take that into the next level of programming and computer science, please join us. I would love to have you. We're going to be completing the end of chapter 2 practice problems where we will be actually writing like our like C program for like the first time in the book. So it'll be a good opportunity to hang out and get some practice if you have to be more productive. You don't want me to go. I was wondering why you said nope. I was like, dang, nope. You don't want me to learn C, bro? Come on, dude. Everybody's hating like I learned C and people's like, yeah, no, where's Python? And I go back to Python. People are like, hey, where's the C? Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Like lavish, I got your joke. You're funny. Anyways, I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me. It's at 10:30, so I'm pretty beat. We just did an hour and 10-minute stream today, where we got our data set up for computing this kind of multi-dimension view of an option kind of contract valuation for specific parameter or a specific data point in this z amplitude direction. So super excited to see what we're going to do. I'll kind of allude to you guys what we're going to use. I was looking up Matplotlib, right? Just the normal, the OG, has some pretty good visualizations for this that I think we could use. Let me hold on. There was Matplotlib mesh surface 3D. Yeah, so it has this stuff. Now, this isn't exactly what we're doing here, but there were some other examples on some other sites I saw. But this is essentially kind of it here, where we could visualize high areas or high amplitude areas of and trending like exponential areas of or abnormal buying in volume or movement of these contracts and see maybe we can interpret what's going on based off of some news, public sentiment, other indicators, price, all that kind of jazz, and then we can make some more solidified, inferences about what we think is going to happen. Let me see. Was there a let me see if I can find that other one that I saw. Surface plots. Um, surface plots. Mat plot them. There was one specifically that I was trying to look at. I think I saw it in images, that's why. Um, yeah, some of these are crazy looking. But like, yeah, look at all these. Like, it's pretty cool. There was one example though that I liked. It was like kind of like almost like you would see for like this, like amplitude for certain heights of like hillsides or whatever, right? Like geographic, um it's blurry as crap, but like geographic but 3D, but for like these option contracts. That's what really sparked my the correlation between the two. Is that a visualization of black shoals? See, it could be like we. That's what we could do is we could. So funny enough, you said that we actually computed the black shoals price for these option contracts in our first rendition, our iteration of this project, better options. But I actually wiped that repo because I really didn't like the way that I was, actually tapping into the Y Finance API. I was just like, I was kind of like I was kind of redoing a lot of the stuff that it was doing for me. So instead, I wiped the repo and I restarted. That's all I had done was computed the Black Scholes model in a simple function. It really wasn't that hard. It only took us like 30 minutes. but um, but what I did was I just referenced the ticker itself here within my class object of a stock, and then I'm adding on a bunch of additional functions that don't basically duplicate things that are already done within the Y Finance ticker itself. So I can get all the info I want out of the ticker object here within this reference method or reference attribute. Um, but I'm kind of adding on a bunch of additional stock features on top of it here. So um, let me know if you guys are interested. I think I have this on my GitHub, but I think it's private. Let me know if you guys are interested in wanting to follow along publicly with it. Um, add we got get options. Options. Cool. All right, Lavish. You also explore 3JS for 3 object. Yeah, we'll have to look into some more libraries and stuff for sure. But, anyways, you guys, I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me. Thanks so much for all you do. And if you guys could leave a like on the stream if you enjoyed the little bit of stock analysis that we did today. Tomorrow, again, like I said, we will jump back into C programming, a modern approach, second edition. We're going to be finishing chapter 2 with the finalization of the post chapter 2 practice problems. So thank you guys so much for being here. And if you guys want to join me for that, please do so. I'll see you guys then. I have a Discord link down below where you can get access to all of my resources, kind of like a roadmap, all for free. So see you guys tomorrow and have a great night. Bye, guys. Dun, dun, dun.